All right, so cattail immediately. So anytime I have plans for a video, in typical fashion, I'm never prepared because I think about the video and then I want to do it before I plan anything. So this is already chaotic. Here's a cat. And any indication how 2023 is going to be, this little gremlin. So I'm trying to do more, and by more I mean any, weekly reading vlogs, kind of more casual conversation, because as we know, I have no concept of what I want this channel to be, and that's why it's chaos and no routine. It's great. We love it. That's why we're all here. But this week I am going back to work, which I'm not excited about. I need to finish my mom's cross stitch that I've had for like a year, because I made her a cross stitch that has her grandkids' names on it, and then thinking that was it. Just because I didn't expect my sisters to have kids, and then my mom's husband, his son had another kid, and then my sister had a kid. So I have a niece and I love her, but I have to update this cross stitch now, and I've had it for so long and I've ignored it. So we're gonna try and finish that maybe today while I listen to Sadie, because I'm nearing halfway. I was at Target forever today and I was listening to it. So that is the first book I'm reading, and then the second one is the Sunbearer's Trials, which I am about a quarter of the way through, which I thought for some reason was Greek mythology, which I think is maybe because it gets related to Percy Jackson. So it took me a minute to realize that this is some kind of Spanish or Hispanic mythology. So I didn't know that. So that's really interesting. I really love the creation myth. Basically, Sol and Tierra got tired of creating gods, and the gods were the obsidians, the jades, and the golds. And Sol went down to earth and planted himself in the soil so he could be close to his beloved Tierra. And I thought that was super sweet. And then that's what created humans. And I love that creation myth. I think that is really cute. And then things went to shit with the obsidians. And then that's when Sol sacrificed himself. And then we get to the Sunbearer's Trials. But it's been compared to the Hunger Games meets Percy Jackson. Thus, I was thinking Greek and I got confused. But I can definitely understand that comparison. And I love like survival game kind of stories. So this has been very interesting. It's a little slower than I anticipated, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I just can't read it when I'm tired. So this past week, I've not been getting too much reading in. So I say that, and then I'm going to end up reading this tonight instead of right now. Because right now I'm going to do cross stitch and Sadie. And Sadie, I have the audiobook on, which I highly recommend because it is I guess it's called a full cast audio. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got multiple narrators, and they're doing a podcast, and the podcast is like it's fully voice acted, but it's more than that. Like it's got all like the sound effects and stuff. It's really cool. So I highly recommend that. But it's about a girl who's gone missing, and the podcast is investigating her disappearance, while at the same time we're getting Sadie, the missing girl's perspective. So they're kind of going back and forth, and it's been super interesting. It's not super long. And I wish I had more to say about it, but I'm really tired. I did all this cleaning because I was going to do another Cat Picks My video. Okay, I told you I was tired. Cat Picks my book. I was going to do that video. But then I realized I need to finish the 2 books I'm reading before I have my cats pick another book for me and do a reading vlog about that. So while I didn't clean for nothing, I didn't need to do that today. So now I'm exhausted and I don't want to go to work tomorrow. And it is only 3 p.m. So I already had the Sunday scaries. And I just have like a whole week off. I have no reason to be complaining. Like, my job's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not a bad job. Who wants to work if they don't have to work, you know? But I can see myself in my glasses now. This is a chaotic welcome back. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on my audiobook and go back to my cross stitch, and I will talk to you guys later. So it's Tuesday. I'm holding a book in my lap. So it's Tuesday, and I had high plans. Thank you for using your scratcher. Very helpful. So I had plans for today's kind of update vlog or whatever to be when I was going to the bookstore to pick up my books, but they're not ready. I ordered them last week, and they said they would be ready today, I'm sorry, not today. They said they would be ready this week. I was hopeful it would be today, but no such luck. But it's probably a good thing because I am now just about 50% of the way through Sunbearer Trials, and I am fully invested now. I thought it had a bit of a slow start, completely into it now. And I want to finish this before I pick up the other books because I think those two will take over my reading until Friday, where I'm hoping to do a weekend vlog where my cats choose my book for the weekend, but we'll see. So that is that. For the Sunbearer's Trials, we have just completed the second task, which I'm loving these tasks. I think they're really interesting, and because they're only 10 minutes. Ooh, I got a text. Because the tasks are only 10 minutes long, the action, okay, I love you too, sister, but now is not the time. She's mad. Not at me. But the action is really fast-paced, and it moves really quickly, and then you get to see a lot more of sort of the after of it, because when I think of things like the Hunger Games, it's almost all the arena and not a lot of the after. So I like that this is kind of breaking it up into chunks like that. Adley says hi. You can't see her, she's just off screen. But on top of there being a really interesting trials, what I also love is that this is a fantasy novel that takes fantasy to, like, its actual extent. It's saying, okay, are you gonna play with the camera? Where it's saying, this is all made up, so the real world rules don't have to apply. And there is a male god who has a biological child with a human male, because it's fantasy and we can do that, and I love that. On top of the fact that it just has really good LGBT representation, particularly the T. I think it feels like good representation to me, a cis woman. Obviously, if I'm wrong, please let me know, but it feels very authentic. And I don't know, I'm loving everything about it. It's deserving of all the praise that I've been seeing about it, and even though I have like 200 pages left, roughly, I'm actually kind of hoping I will finish this tonight. I do have to watch another episode of Kaleidoscope. I'm watching one episode every night. So far, my order is orange. I've only watched one. But I will also let you know the order that I watch it in, because I'm not even watching it in the order that my Netflix put it on for me. I'm picking my own order. Why am I still holding this? So I will let you know that order as well and what I think about it, because I think it's a really inventive show, and I'm glad that Netflix is trying this, and I'm hoping this leads to more creative TV adventures in the future. But I will check in with you guys either when I finish this or tomorrow when I maybe go to the bookstore. So I don't have my AirPods in. This video is gonna have sound quality all over the place. But I finished the Sunbearer's Trials, and right after my last update, like minutes, the bookstore texted me and was like, oh, your books are in whenever you want to come pick them up. Oh my god. It's not even that late. And I was like, really? Like, I just decided that I was not going to pick them up. So I didn't. I'm going to do that tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is going to be a frustrating work day. So I decided to, oops, sorry. Hi, kitty. She's sleeping. I decided to pick up books as a treat for having a sucky work day. I mean, it may not suck. It could be great. Who knows? But Sunbearer's Trial, 4 stars. So good. I loved the trials. I felt like everything made so much sense. Like, I know it's a dumb thing to say, but like, when I finished it, I was like, oh, of course, like, that all fits. But even before the end, I wasn't confused. Like, Teo and I saw the same things, but I wasn't. Okay, so spoilers. let's just do spoiler talk for a second. So throughout the trials, Teo kept seeing these golds get like manic angry, and was manic the right word for that? And like just going nuts. And he said their eyes were always dark, like it happened, and it happened to his friend Naya, which I will say I thought it was a little weird. He never asked her about it, but I was like, it makes sense. Like, they're stressed. There's a lot going on, and they're magic. I mean, they're gods. Maybe magic isn't the right word, but they have powers, and I think it's entirely possible that their parents could be interfering. Like, there's so much that could be going on. Like, it wasn't weird that this was happening. But then at the end, you find out that Zio, I think that's how you say his name, was obsidian, and he was fucking with everything. And like, they make the reveal that Zio's obsidian, and I'm like, yeah, that I suspected maybe. Well, actually, I thought he was like actually using his bad luck to like manipulate things. Turns out, no, he was a little asshole obsidian. But then I realized later, it's like, oh, duh, he was the one manipulating them, and that's why their eyes were black, because of the obsidian. Duh. And I loved that. And I'm hoping, is it bad that I want Zio to get a redemption arc in book 2? Because he was so sweet. Like, his friendship with them felt so genuine. And maybe he's the villain. Like, this is Maven all over again. I was devastated in Red Queen. I didn't want him to have a redemption arc, though. I do want Zio to have one, I'm hoping. Because, like, if he isn't, I forget, the bad luck god, I forget their name. But if he isn't their kid, why does that god think he's their kid then? Like, did I miss that? he seemed very attached to this child. I'm assuming in book 2 we will get that answer as to how he was born in Obsidian, if they've all been locked in the stars. Very curious about that. But I will say, I think the comparisons to the Hunger Games and Percy Jackson are very accurate. It definitely has those vibes, but it also has very strong Goblet of Fire vibes, like specifically Goblet of Fire, like Tri-Wizard Tournament specifically. And I loved that. I'd actually almost say it is Percy Jackson in the Tri-Wizard Tournament with like a fucked up government system flair. That being the Hunger Games. Although, all of those kind of have a fucked up government system. A little bit, if you think about it too much. That's all for tonight. I say that, like, I have to finish Sadie, and that's probably not going to happen today or tomorrow because it's already 9:45. I need to go to bed. Education. But, like, I want to start another book. Which is stupid because I'm going to go to the bookstore and the library tomorrow to pick up 3 new books. 1 from the library, 2 from the bookstore. All of which I will be reading ASAP. So there's no point in like picking up the next book, but it's like when you finish one, it's kind of, I always like having the next one lined up, and I don't have it yet, but whatever. That's tomorrow's problem, I guess. Okay, bye. Do you ever just like make plans and then it starts raining so hard? Because yeah, I was planning to go to the bookstore and the library on my lunch, which I did. I'm at the library right now. And I picked up my books from the used bookstore, but like, I hate bringing books in the rain. But since we're sitting here waiting for the rain to calm down, because guess who left their umbrella at home? This girl. I'm so excited. I have been waiting for this all year, or all of last year, I guess, and did not realize this was hardcover. I don't know why. I'm silly, I guess. And then, because I couldn't not, like, Sweet Valley defined my childhood, and now that they're graphic novels, I'm so excited. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go out in this lovely, I'm sure you can hear it, weather. So yeah, I will update you after I'm done getting down poured at the library. Hello again. So I got my library book. Oh goodness. Do we love the professionalism of my set? It's not even a set. So I got my library book. It was pouring rain, which probably was obvious. I swear I sleep. I was drenched, and I think all of my books got somewhat wet, which kind of sucks. But I know I already showed these 2. Look at the professionalism here. Anyway, I am so excited to read these, but I'm like, I ran out of spoons today. I don't know what happened. And my library book is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, because I'd wanted to read it. It'd been on my TBR for a little while now. But I just finished Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane, and they referenced this, and I was like, oh my god, that's a real book. And that's maybe a dumb thing to say because they were in a bookstore, but like, sometimes, you know, people don't reference real media just to like not date things or whatever. But I suppose maybe this is not well known enough to matter, or it's possible that they just don't care, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being super pop culture relevant. So anyway, so that was like the push to finally read this. So yeah, I might just end up starting the graphic novels tonight because I'm so tired. I know I was exhausted last night, right? And I didn't go to bed till like midnight. I couldn't fall asleep. So I only got like 6 hours of sleep yesterday, and then work was annoying for different reasons than I anticipated. Which is probably a portion of why I ran out of spoons. Also, do we love what my hair is doing? Like, what? All right. Yeah, so, and I'm searching for a new house or rental property. My lease here is up in 3 months and I don't want to renew it. So I'm trying to get my next place squared away by the end of January. And the first place I was really excited about won't allow cats, which is super cool. The listing didn't state that. I'm not dumb enough to like go see someplace that says I can't have cats. Luckily I didn't see it, but it was still disappointing because it was like number one. But now I have a new favorite that I reached out to the landlord and I'm hoping they get back to me because I'm trying to do like a townhouse or a condo. I don't want an apartment if I can avoid it. Not that there's anything wrong with apartments, but I just feel like I can negotiate a better deal or any deal at all for that matter if I get a privately owned property. So that's what we're going for. So like that's kind of stressing me out, but I knew that would be a stressor. So yeah, I guess that's my only little update. But like, I feel like this is just going to be the happy little cozy story. Oh, speaking of pink, I watched episode pink and episode red of Kaleidoscope. So my order is officially orange, pink, red. And I'm so invested. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I have seen a couple weeks or months before the heist. I've seen far after the heist. I've seen the day after the heist. My sister said one of the episodes she watched was like 25 years in the past. So I am like, every time I think I have a grasp of like what's happening, I have no idea. And I have no idea, like someone on TikTok was like Jordan the Stallion or something. He said he watched White first because he didn't know you weren't supposed to. And said that he knows how it ends. So there's no point in watching it now. He was mad because they should have like made it clear that White was supposed to be the last one. I guess Netflix figured that everyone would watch it in the order that they randomized for them. But when you find out that it can be randomized, like you're gonna possibly randomize it yourself. So maybe put a disclaimer. But the important thing here is that what I want to know is what White is telling us, because I've seen at least some of the aftermath of the heist. So my thought right now is that White is the heist. And if I'm right, how can that spoil what happens after the heist? Like, I feel like I know how it ends. I just don't know how we got there. There has to be at least one more after the furthest episode that I've seen in the future. I'm trying to keep this vague, for spoiler reasons, but like the way the one episode in the far future that I watched ended, there has to be another one after it. But also my feelings on all these characters are changing every episode. Like every episode I'm like, oh my God, I love this character. And then the next episode I'm like, they're kind of a douche. But now I love this character, even though he or she was a douche last time. And then the next episode, it's wild. I also kind of want to almost watch this again, but like in chronological order. I'm going to be excited to play around with this in the future. But for now, it is 7:30. And I think I'm going to go read in bed because I am 90.
Everyone wants to know what Greek god they are, and I'm going to take this as fact. Law of the land. Fuck.
Okay, hi. Ooh, all right. So, it is Wednesday, and I got a tour with one of my favorite properties. So I've been emailing, I think I emailed this realtor like 3 times today, and they were responding to my listings, and I was like, on the one hand, I should take this as a sign that they're not like reliable. But then I found another. I finally, because they have a couple listings, and I finally found one that said you had to call them. So I was like, okay, I will call them and see. Scheduled it for tomorrow. So that way I can just know if it's the right vibe, the right fit or not, and then I can move on or apply. And then, yeah, so I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm really excited. Mostly just to get this moving, and also maybe, if I like it, sign a lease, and then I can stop worrying about it. And they said that they will negotiate the rent if I sign a 2-year lease. So I'm hoping I can talk them down, because the pet fees are going to jack it right back up. So because I'm in a good mood now, and I'm sure people have seen that TikTok trend of I'm lucky and everything just works out for me. That is my 2023 mantra, and therefore everything just works out for me because I am lucky. And I'm going to take the fact that it is a beautiful day outside, even though it is January and it should not be this warm. Global warming is terrifying. But I'm going to take advantage of the beautiful weather. And I'm going to go to the post office and send my friend her Christmas present. Yeah, I'm really ahead. This is definitely not like a super late Christmas present. Hi, Nugget. Thank you. Do you see that tail? Well, now you can't go in the box. That's for friend. She wants to go in the box. She's mad. Anyway, so we're going. What are you doing? Okay. Chaos. They are pure chaos demons. See? Say hi. Nugget. Okay, well, that makes sense. Anyway, there's a beautiful, beautiful princess. So we're going to go post office, drop this box off. I was going to take a walk to the Little Free Library, which is not off the table, but the sun will set, soon. So, I may or may not do that today. We will see. That's not off the table. But what's great about this property that I'm going to go see tomorrow is that it is still arguably within walking distance of this Little Free Library. But the downside, not of the property, of this Little Free Library, is that it's outside a church. So there's a lot of religious books in there a lot of the time.
What's the point of living if I don't know what book villain I am? Ah!
Look at how cute she is. I just want to explode. I don't know what I did in my life to deserve you, but I'm so glad you're here. Also, I like that the camera's focusing on your butt instead of your face. There we go. You're so cute. I was gonna read my book, but I don't know if I can reach it without disrupting my pensive little princess. Oh no, go back to sleep. Her eyes are open the whole time. Hello, I'm coming to you live from my couch with my cat. This is Nugget, for those who are unaware. I have 2 cats. Adley/Stormy has not really made a formal appearance, but she's been in the background. Speaking of being in the background, there she is. Her legal name is Adley, and my sister calls her Stormy. And despite having had her for over a year, I have not come up with a name for her that I like. And since she's not a dog, it doesn't really matter what I call her. So, anyway, it's Saturday morning, afternoon. What time is it? I did not sleep well last night. Okay, it's afternoon. Who cares? And I've had a really good reading week. I have finished 4 books. Admittedly, 2 of them are graphic novels, so that is less impressive. Not that there is anything wrong with any kind of reading. I'm not judging myself for it, but when I say I've read 4 books in 7 days, it's a lot easier it's a lot easier when those books are graphic novels. And I have uno más. I have one more graphic novel to read, which is kind of a long one. I did not expect this to be quite so long. I suppose because it's like a full ass story. The other book I read was Eat the Rich by Sarah Gailey, which is over there. So I'm not gonna go pick it up because, as we can see from this beautiful position, I am having a lazy day. I woke up at 5:30 because I hate myself and I couldn't go back to sleep. Which the real reason is because I submitted an application for a new rental property. Yesterday, and I figured I wouldn't hear back until Monday because it's a Friday night, and then the realtor started messaging me, and I always get really anxious about that kind of stuff, so I was just like anxiously awaiting a response, and then I finally fell asleep, and I woke up at 5:30 because I had to pee, and then the realtor texted me telling me that they were approving me, but they had to talk to the owners. So then at that point I was like, well, no, I'm not going to fall back asleep. So despite all this yawning, I've not been able to take a nap. Hi, you smell like cat food. And I'm tired, having a lazy day. So the point of all of that was to say I'm not going to go pick up the book to tell you about it, but I read Eat the Rich by Sarah Gailey, which was not what I expected. I thought we were going, I don't know what I thought or where I got this impression, I guess. I thought the book was about a world where the rich feast on the poor, and like by choice. When I say by choice, I mean like the poor enter into the contract knowing that they will be eaten at the end of it. Oh my God, these are yawn tears. And I mean, and to some degree that is what it is, but I thought it was like full dystopia. Everyone in the world knows this, and you just have the option to live in destitution or sign up to be a caregiver of sorts to the rich for X amount of years, and then you get eaten at the end of it. So that was what I went in expecting. And instead, we're following a girl meeting her boyfriend's family for the first time in essentially the normal world. And then she stumbles upon her boyfriend's family's big dark secret, which is that they eat their help at the end of their contracts. So, like, same thing, but not. And so I was already a little disappointed by that fact. But the first 4 installments were really good. The art is really great. And the story was really dark. It did leave me with some questions, but overall, I really enjoyed it. The ending failed. And I mean, I liked the direction the ending was going, but it was way too fast. There was no development to that point. And the 2 questions I was left with, one was, they're both spoiler questions, so I'm not going to pose them here. But one of them was an overarching question that I had throughout most of the story that I just don't feel was sufficiently explained. Like, their in-universe explanation was pretty much just like, this will happen just because. And I was like, okay, I need a little bit more, because cannibalism isn't normal that I know of in this world. So, like, I need a little bit more than just because. And then the other question was about a side character who was having like an extreme reaction to something that seemed very minor to me in the grand scheme of things, that I'm like, okay, why are you having such a strong reaction to this? And it's never explained. And I don't know if I just missed something or maybe I was like reading it wrong, but like he seemed really put out to be doing this thing twice in like 2 months. It was very weird. So I don't know, like it was fine, but I don't even think I'd really recommend it. Like it's just whatever. And what else did I read? I started A Million to One by, I don't remember her name. I know that it's one that's difficult for me to say, so I apologize in advance and I'm going to butcher this. Adiba Jagardar? I know that's not right. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say that. I will try and look that up. But this is a heist story set on the Titanic that I believe is also sapphic. I've read the first like 4 chapters. I've been introduced to all the main characters, or who I assume are all the main characters. It's really fun. And it's been fun to start this while watching Kaleidoscope, which is another heist story, because I didn't even know that I liked heist stories after I didn't like Six of Crows. It feels blasphemous to say. I couldn't finish it. I got so bored by like the 25% mark. I was just like, this is not for me. But I also didn't totally love Shadow and Bone. Like it was fine. I finished the trilogy, but like it was fine. So I think some of it is I just don't really care for Leigh Bardugo's writing that much. Yeah, so I finished that. Oh, and I finally finished Sadie. Oof. That was not for me either. Objectively, I think that is a good book. Like I think it's well written, and I loved the audiobook. I thought that was really cool how it was like a podcast and it was fully voice acted. Like all of that was really interesting, and I think it's a well told story. I just didn't care about it. So that was why that took me so long to finish, but I finally got that done today while catching 2 shiny Pokemon. Flittle, my second Flittle, because I need to evolve this one into Tilda Swinton. I forget its real name, Espartha maybe? Someone called it Tilda Swinton, and that's just what I call them now. And Frostlass. So I'm excited about that, because I'm working slowly to having a living shiny dex, because I am a collector, if nothing else. And yeah, so that's been like all my reading updates. Oh, and I finished a Sweet Valley graphic novel that was so cute, and they made Alice Wakefield a snack. She has no right being that cute. And that, I don't remember that. I know I read that story back like in the 90s or early aughts. I don't remember it specifically, but I do remember enough to know that it's got like the same vibe, same general story. And for those of you who have read the graphic novel or the original, can we talk about how Sweet Valley Middle School had a full-on just sorority of maybe just 6th graders? I'm unclear if the unicorns spanned multiple years or if it was just 6th grade. Because the twins never leave 6th grade in the novel. Like the twins novels are solely focused on them being in 6th grade, so there's like no point in mentioning the upperclassmen. So I can't remember if the unicorns have 7th and 8th graders in them, but like full on sorority. And when I tell you that I was basically devastated that not only did that not exist in my middle school, but knowing that if it did exist, I would not have been cool enough to get in it. Even though, at the end of the day, I was always an Elizabeth, and I wanted to be Elizabeth. Like, in general, I always liked her more. But when I tell you the adventures of Jessica and her rich friends was, like, also what I aspired to be, even though I knew I was an Elizabeth. Anyway, will I continue reading those graphic novels? Probably. The second one comes out this summer. I'm very excited. They're so cute. So much nostalgia. Also, happy Catter Day. Oh, you can't see Adley. Oh, she's up here. Hi, pretty kitty. I love you too. Yeah?